Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Europe absorbing U.S. soft power and Trump. Radio Free Europe was an icon throughout the Cold War. It broadcast its programs from the West to the other side of the Iron Curtain. It was such a mainstay during the Cold War that when Hollywood would make movies depicting a Soviet takeover of the U.S., the characters behind the lines would listen to a fictitious Radio Free America. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. Many credited the radio station with being at least partially responsible for the collapse of Soviet influence in Eastern Europe. Fun fact, Radio Free Europe grew out of a little organization called the National Committee for a Free Europe, formed by Allen Dulles back in 1949. Allen Dulles was the first director of the Central Intelligence Agency. The organization received covert funding from the CIA until at least 1972. Millions upon millions of dollars year after year. Up until 1995, it was based in Munich. Then it moved to Prague, a city it once broadcasted into. Radio Free Europe and its lesser-known sister Radio Liberty, which broadcast into the Soviet Union, was American soft power at work. The Trump administration has ordered funding cut. Now that the background information is done with, let's move on to the news. The Prime Minister of the Czech Republic has vowed that his government will step up to keep the stations funded, saying, quote, "We will do everything that we can to give them the chance to continue in this very important role." It looks like the Czech government is teaming up with 7 other EU countries to find funding. The country's foreign minister has gone so far as to suggest Europe buying it. For its part, Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty are going to court in the U.S. to try to restore funding, alleging that the administration violated the Constitution. So, why are European nations, particularly the Czech Republic, interested in taking over Radio Free Europe? Because they know more than anybody that soft power works. They've seen the effects. As the United States continues to surrender its role as a world leader, it's probably going to become more commonplace for European powers to pick up the infrastructure that allowed the U.S. to build and maintain its global influence. If the transatlantic split continues, it's likely that Radio Free Europe or a similar organization is being operated by a European alliance. News of Trump cutting funding was reportedly greeted warmly in Moscow. They might have popped the cork a little too soon, because it doesn't look like all of NATO is abandoning the concept of soft power. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.